Good morning and welcome to the Elevate Renatus team call. This is your host, Keely Austin. Today is Wealth Wednesday. It's October 28th. I'm excited to be here with you. We've got a great training, but first, just a couple of quick announcements. Our quote of the day today is stay away from negative people. They have a problem for every solution. We have our dates for a national conference. If you haven't already, make sure you mark your calendar and clear out these 3 days, March 18th through the 20th of 2021. Our theme for Renatus National Conference next year is Shift, Shifting Higher into Focused Transformation. We're going to be meeting online for our national conference in March, and I am very, very excited. We have our Leaders Retreat dates as well, August 13th through the 17th, 2021. We're going to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. Very excited to see you all there. We have, if you haven't already visited the website, oes.com, Michael and his team have put this together for us with a short video. It's about 5-6 minutes long. It talks about what the OES is, the optional event subscription, and what is included with it. With that being said, we've got some additional weekly and daily support that we've added on. So every week at 6 p.m. Mountain Time on Thursday, we are meeting with Daine Clark for about an hour, where we are going over different ways of building capital for our deals. So Daine's taking what he learned from the classes, requiring that we also watch our classes and bring questions to the masterclass. And he's going to be sharing with us what's been working for him, as he's been very successful with building capital for his business. So AIT students only for the Thursday private capital masterclass. Also, every day we are doing a daily real estate action mastermind call. It's the dream call from 9 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. And this is for students. It's Monday through Friday. And we are essentially watching our classes and then bringing questions from our classes to this dream call. And it's been a lot of fun, getting a lot of clarity around what type of action steps I need to take in order to start to really build my real estate investing portfolio. It's been an awesome call. If you haven't been a part of it, you're missing out. Every Friday, we are now meeting with Lily Partas for our morning marketing call from 8 to 9 a.m. For many, many years now, at least 5-6 years, we've been doing these calls Monday through Thursday. So it's really exciting that we've now added on Fridays with Lily. So make sure you're tuning in on Friday morning. And also every day from noon to about noon 15, I did just say noon 15, Monday through Friday, we have a Zoom get to know you call with Scott Rowe and Michael Huggins. We are doing an interview. So one of them will be showcasing someone's story. And so we'll have that person on and sharing their story and their success with Renatus. And the whole idea of this is to get your guests onto this quick 15-minute call so that they can hear some really powerful stories. In order to access that, you'll have to first register in Helios, and then you can visit bit.ly/zoomup. Last week's house tour was awesome. We toured Inessa's house tour. This property was paid for completely by her previous deal. So she will be living in this deal for free and getting cash flow each and every month. So congrats, Ines. That's a really, really cool deal. It was a different type of deal than what we normally see. It wasn't our typical fix and flip. And every Wednesday we have these house tours, and it's a very powerful exposure for your guest. If you'd like to grab a screenshot of this here, you may feel free to do so. This is just a quick snippet of our weekly events. Every Tuesday at 12:30 Mountain Time, we have a profits intro. It's about 60 minutes long with Michael Huggins. He's done a great job with introducing profits to people around the world. We've got people all over the world tuning in for the profits intro. It's been a lot of fun. And as I mentioned just a moment ago, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we have a virtual house tour workshop. These have been a lot of fun and really, really cool to show your guests what people are out there doing with our education. Every Thursday, I mentioned at 6 o'clock Mountain Time, we have our masterclass with Daine Clark on private capital. And then directly after at 7 p.m., business as usual, that we've been doing this for a long time now, our our plethora of events on Thursday. We've got so much going on, so much support, and a lot of things, a lot of different things that you can choose to plug into depending on what your goals are. We have the house tour in Spanish. So in the case that you have some Spanish speaking guests, please get them involved with the Spanish house tour on Thursdays. And then we have our Pillars of Wealth interpretation in English. We have a follow-up and funding webinar. We have our onboarding session for both guests and students. We have an essentials mastermind in both English and Spanish. We have a business development study group as well as multiple real estate study groups. So you can plug into fix and flip, wholesaling, multifamily, or short-term rental. We do record these morning calls. You can find them both on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Our Facebook page, we do these live, so you can always catch the recording right away. I love that feature. And then also we have a lot of important announcements on the Facebook page. So if you're not a part of Renata's Team Elevate private Facebook page, search for that and become a member or become a part of that group. And for YouTube, you want to subscribe to Elevate Renatus and take advantage of all the value that's on the YouTube channel. That's also where we're putting the 15-minute Zoom up calls that I mentioned with Scott Rowe and Michael Huggins. Those are all on the YouTube channel. We record each and every one of those. Today, we get to learn from Daine Clark. Daine Clark, as I mentioned, has had a lot of success with building private capital, as well as building his business, of course, on both the marketing side as well as on the real estate side. So to be able to spend an hour with Daine every single Wednesday in the morning is incredible. I'm so grateful that he is spending the time with us to share with us what's working for him. And before Renatus, Daine was working 2 jobs. He was working for both Apple in the back. He was kind of shy, so not on the floor talking to customers. He was in the back counting cell phones. And then he was also working on the weekends as a roofer. That's what his dad did. So he kind of just fell into that. And with fair skin, being in the sun all day was not his cup of tea. At the time, Daine was barely making ends meet, and he knew he needed to make a change. He found Renatus, plugged into the system, and he listened to his mentors, applied what he was learning. He immediately applied Velocity Banking, which enabled him to put a down payment on a duplex where he lived in one side of the duplex, rented out the other side. Now, if we fast forward to today, I mentioned Daine has had a lot of success with building or raising private capital. He has now raised around just over 14 million, perhaps 15 million at this point, and has just hit his 100th deal in around 4 years. So that's extremely exciting. Congratulations, Daine. And he has completed various transactions, as I mentioned, and the 15 million has gone from different investors towards various transactions. His secret to that is consistency and frequency. He has grown his team. As I mentioned, he's also been very successful in the marketing side of this business. He is recognized by our CEO, Bob Snyder, as a key leader and is on the PIT team currently, the President's Advisory Council in training. I'm very, very excited for what Daine has to share with us today. Good morning, Daine.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week, and thank you so much, Keely, for that intro each and every single week. I'm here in the toy holler again because everybody's sleeping in my house, and if I wake up the babies, then I'm dead meat. So it's freezing today. Holy cow, it's like 30 degrees outside. So, but yeah, excited to be here, and I'll have to figure something out so I don't wake up those babies because freezing my nays obviously. Anyway, I'm awake though. I'm awake. I'm very awake. No, just kidding. But yeah, excited to be here. Oh, I actually just broke $16 million put to work. We just bought a house yesterday, and used private funds, raising money, bought it cash, all the good stuff. So, oh my gosh, it's been crazy. So, but yeah, excited for today. I got some good stuff for you guys. I mean, I always say that. I know I always say that. I got good stuff for you guys, but really, I got some good stuff for you guys today. But let's go ahead and start off. You guys know what I love to hear. I want to hear how you guys are doing in your business. So tell me how many conversations did you have in the last 7 days? How many people came to an intro? How many people came to a follow-up? a Zoom event? How many people did you do a one-on-one with? How many people, and if you're at this stage, how many people did you just have a real estate conversation with? How many people did you say the words investing in real estate to? If you're in your beginning phases, then that's what I would start tracking. How many people do I say the words investing in real estate to? And start up a real estate investing conversation with them. How many people did you get to regionals in the last, let's see, that was Friday, Saturday. How many people did you have come to the regionals training? I know I was there, but yeah, how many people? Would love to hear. And then let me go to the chat. And I hope you guys like this new setup here where I've got my iPad so I can share my screen below, and I've got the phone set up so that way you can always see my face. I got some feedback from somebody recently where they're like, dude, we can't see your face. And so I was like, all right, I'll make it to where you can always see my face. And and so got the phone up here, got the iPad down here so we can share the screen if we need to. But if I do this, you're gonna like see my finger as I look at the chat.
There is a little bit of a lag
right.
on your video. I just wanted to let you know. Your face is frozen.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shoot. Here, let's see if it's.
But your audio is coming through great.
Here, let me turn my Wi-Fi off. Wi-Fi off. This will probably help. Is that better? Is the audio better now?
Audio has been crystal clear the whole time. It was just the video that was frozen.
Oh, video is off. Okay. Cool. Well,
so cool.
We'll give that a try. Oh well. Okay. So okay, we were looking at chat. All right, let's give some love here. I want to see. Good morning, LaShawn, to you as well. 2 for Velocity Banking, 1 for the cash flow game, 1 sign up for Essentials. Congratulations. Anne says she's got 3. Charles has 1 Zoom up. Congratulations. Lester has 1 combo sale. Ooh, congratulations. Combo sales are very fun. What an exciting journey that your new guest has started on. Oh, buying the combo. Oh, it's funny. I wish I could do that again, actually, but lifetime membership, so I don't have to. But congratulations, my friend. Keely had 5 guests. Oh, just kidding. 4 guests last Thursday. Congratulations. Lorene had 1 person do the intro. David had 2 follow-ups, 2 real estate investing. I'm guessing that's 2 real estate investing conversations, 2 regionals. Doug, 1 one-on-one on a plane ride home. So cold you froze. Yeah, you're right. Guys, let me know if the video is working better now, or if I need to find a better solution for this. But Isaac had 2 follow-ups. Keely, 2 on Zoom. Bobby Johnson, 0 for regionals, but spoke to 5 people who are on the intro currently. Congratulations. Cool. Good job, guys. We need more people submitting. We need more people telling us what they're doing in the last 7 days. So yeah, thank you, Anna. Yeah, if you notice this, right? I haven't said this in a while, so I'm gonna say this again. But notice that if you report, well, first of all, if you measure, right? Wherever performance is measured, performance is going to improve. And whenever performance is measured and reported, the rate of improvement increases very, very quickly. I noticed that. And in fact, I remember, if you want like the ultimate accountability to yourself, try recording yourself and listen back to yourself and give yourself feedback. You'll be your best critic. You'll also be your best feedback, where you can be like, ooh, you should do it like this, self. It's very hard to do. But when I got that feedback from somebody, and so I was measuring my performance and I was giving my own self feedback, man, things started kicking off. Because at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? I want to be successful, and I want to be successful more or harder. Can you want things harder? I want to be successful harder than success is hard to get. And so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do all the things. I'm going to do all the things that people suggest to me, because you know what? I don't care. I'm not going to discriminate. I'm just going to do whatever people say, hey, do this to be successful. And I would go try that. And so I, you know, recording and reporting and listening back to myself, getting feedback, going and trying and having conversations and making mistakes along the way. And that I learned something. I was like, man, that's how you become a master. You go do that 100 times. You go have 100 conversations, and really you go have 100 learning experiences that are a perfect supplement for watching your Renatus classes. So anyway, we had a few more chats. I got a few more of you guys. I've got to give these guys the love. Let's see. So Anna says she had 2 one-on-ones. Great job. Nina have talked every day to at least 3 people about real estate and working on 1 essentials with funding. Congrats. Working on 1 for profits next week. Great job, Nina. Tyson Clay, what's up, brother? 2 conversations. And let's see, it's somebody's email. I'm going to guess this is maybe Miri. It's cordaro.miri@gmail.com. I'm guessing it's maybe Miri. 1 in regional and talking to 4 more. Cool. Congrats, guys. Kath, next, let's have somebody come off of mute. If you already know who you are, then just interrupt me and get first in line. But I every week, I love to, again, come into your guys' space, and tell me the story of a conversation that you've had, left you deer in the headlights. Tell me a story of something that they said or that happened, or just like, Daine, how do you do this? How do you do that? I have actually come up with, I shouldn't say I have actually come up with, but we as a group have actually come up with some topics that I was like, man, I didn't know that people needed to know that. Because sometimes if you're out there and you're making something work, it's because you're doing something right. And sometimes, and my case is a perfect example. Sometimes you don't even know what you're doing right. And so having people come out and say, Daine, how do you do this? Or how do I do this? Or how do I do that? Or what do I do when they say this? I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't even know that we all needed to teach that. So come off of mute, ask the question. Let's see if we can fill a gap for somebody, put them in the hot seat. And every single time, people are grateful. So, and nobody's interrupted me yet. I'm telling you guys, interrupt me. I've got Tyson Clay off of mute though. Are you just waiting for me to shut up? You're very kind.
All right.
You're very kind. Cool. Tyson, what's up, brother? How can we help?
Well, in the recent past, I've had several one-on-ones, and it seems like I'm experiencing this streak where all of them want Renatus. They want to buy the AIT package or the essentials package, either one, but none of them have money. So I've hit this wall where like nobody's qualified financially. I'm wondering if you've experienced this in the past and how you screen for that in the beginning so you don't waste your time.
Aha, dude, this is gold. This is like the secret. Okay, so a couple of questions for you, if you don't mind, because I've got you on the hot seat. So first of all, where, in fact, let's use real life examples, because you said a couple of terms that make me a little concerned, where you said everybody or nobody has money. That's actually an affirmation. And so notice what you're attracting to yourself as well, but that's a whole different ball game. But so maybe reword things a little bit by saying like, hey, I've noticed that a few people that I've talked to recently have just been flat out broke, right? And make sure that the affirmation you're telling yourself is like, hey, that's just temporary, right? Instead of saying everybody's broke. you're going to start attracting that to yourself. And it's a spiral that when you go down that, and you'll stay down longer, if that makes sense. When you hit this little funk where it's like, man, I've talked to a few people that are broke lately, and it's time to find the people who got the money and they're ready to spend it, right? So first of all, I just want to make sure I say that. But let's go and actually tell me the story of one person, right? So bring one person to the table and tell me how you met this person, right? Do you have the one person in mind that
Yes.
that was broke? Okay.
Yes.
How did you meet them?
At church.
Okay.
So the 3-foot rule, basically, that's how I meet most of my prospects, is the 3-foot rule.
Okay.
And this person, we started talking about real estate.
Okay, and how did that come up? Like, how did it all of a sudden, conversation, bam, real estate? What happened? What was said? Did you initiate? Did they initiate? It's kind of like
yeah. I began talking to them about their life. I asked them what they do for work. I asked them about their family, and then they asked me what I do for work.
Aha! And you're just like, bam! Thank you for the opportunity. Okay. And so you say something real estate. What did you say?
I said, I'm so happy you asked. I invest in real estate. Like, you know, those people on TV that do the fix and flips. I do that, except it's in real life.
Love it. Okay. Then what'd they say?
They said, I've always been interested in doing that. It's just intriguing to me. And then I said, well, if you would like to learn more about it and see what it's like to be in this world, you're welcome to come to a house tour on Wednesday night. Me and some friends put together something, and you can see a real fix and flip, and then see the numbers and see how they got the deal, how they funded it. Would you be interested in that?
And they said,
well, yeah. What time is it? And then they came and liked it, did the one-on-one, and by the way, he's still interested. He's trying to figure out, this is like 2 months ago now, but he's trying to figure out how he's going to fund it. And this kind of thing has happened to me over and over and over again with different prospects, it seems like. But this specific person, yes, that's what's happening with him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So everybody on the call, I know what happened. Tyson, do you know what happened? And anybody else on the call, do you guys know what happened that is causing Tyson to feel this spell where he's like, all of a sudden I'm talking to a bunch of broke people. Okay? Tyson, first I want to ask you, did you catch it? As you told me the story of your conversation, did you catch what's missing in your conversation?
No.
Okay, no worries. That's what I'm here for. Did anybody else catch it? Call Richard Stock. He finds the fun. Okay, that's fine. We'll go there in a minute. But did anybody catch it? Right. It was right in between where Tyson said, "Hey, I invest in real estate," and they said, "Oh my gosh, I have been interested in getting into that." Right. So right after that phrase, and then the comment like, "Cool, we're actually getting together to do something. Do you want to come?" Okay. So it was right in between that one and that one. If you just put something right in between that, so the phrase like, "Oh my gosh, I've always been interested in getting into real estate," and then you're like, "Hey, well, we're doing something." If you put something right in between that, for example, I love this question. So let's role play up to where you are, where you're like, "Hey, I actually invest in real estate." Oh my gosh, I've always wanted to do that. Immediate follow-up question is like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool. How long?" Yeah. Oh yeah, we've got some really good stuff. Thanks everybody for who's commenting in. But the question is, how long have you been interested in getting into real estate? Do you know the answer to that question? Because it sounds like you've talked to this person a little bit. Do you know the answer to that question? How long have they been interested in getting into it?
for a few months before I found him. He started reading Robert Kiyosaki books and mindset books, and they kind of directed him towards real estate.
Cool. Now, when did you find that out? Did you find that out way down the road, or did you still find this out in your original conversation?
I found that out later down the road.
Okay, later down the road. Okay, and that's okay. Not neither here nor there. I would typically try to find that out earlier on. So that question: how long have you been interested in getting into real estate investing? Okay, and then I like to ask the question, like, what has piqued your interest? You know, so at this point, like, I turn into detective mode. It's so funny. Whenever I take my wife anywhere and I start a real estate conversation with like all my family together, my wife knows, like, oh shoot, Daine is in his detective mode. Like, I'm gonna back off and just let him do his thing. Because now I'm gonna start like asking like a series of questions. I'm gonna be genuinely interested. How long have you been interested in real estate? What have you tried so far? And so I would dare guess that if this person has just a few months ago gotten turned on to real estate investing, they've read Robert Kiyosaki, I'm guessing they haven't tried very much yet. Am I safe to assume that
Yes,
they haven't tried anything yet? Okay. And so again, this just comes because I've had probably 1,000 conversations around real estate investing at this point, but and so I can kind of like see before it happens. It's crazy. Like, you'll get to the point when I talk about becoming a master, Tyson and everybody else on this call, you will get to a point where you almost like see the future of the individual that you're talking about based on the answer to their questions, or based on the answer to these questions. Okay. So how long have you been interested? What have you tried so far? What have you tried in real estate? And if they say nothing, that's fine. Like, cool, I read a Robert Kiyosaki book, and all of a sudden I'm interested in real estate. Great, I'm okay with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. So the next question, and this is where things get interesting. Okay. In fact, here, I'm gonna share my screen. Keely, can you allow me? I think I renamed my iPad Daine Clark's iPad. Can you allow my iPad to share screen by chance? Daine Clark iPad. Is it gonna let me out?
I only see Daine Clark. I don't see Daine Clark iPad. Oh no, I see you now.
Okay, cool.
We're good.
So awesome. Okay, thank you. So let me share my screen here, start broadcast, and all right, Tyson. In fact, oh look, I just did a training on this a little bit ago. So if you guys have seen this, it's not gonna let me go back far enough. Okay, if you guys have seen this, this will save us a little bit of time. Okay, if you have not seen this, let me just kind of give you a general idea of what the heck this is. But Tyson, do you know what this is?
It looks like.
Have you seen my 4 boxes?
Oh yeah, you're a box training. Like, I don't have money. I don't have
my
time.
4-box training.
I have time, but no money. Yeah.
Exactly. So passive investor has time, but no time, but has money. Active investor has time. Who cares if they have money? They have time, and they want to invest in time into becoming a CEO of real estate, right? And then over here, we've got people who have properties with an underlying problem. And then last but not least, we have people who are not ready yet, okay? I don't want to say not interested. They're just not ready, okay? So this person, you got to here where they respond positively to real estate investing, okay? And then I start asking the questions because now I want to try and place them in the box. Now, I think you placed them in the correct box, but we just need to figure out the avenue, or we need to figure out what they already have to bring to the table, if anything, right? Because time is not always the most valuable currency that somebody can bring. Sometimes they need to bring a little something else, maybe a little bit of credit, maybe a little bit of cash, maybe a little bit of a relationship to find the money. Okay, so here's the cool thing. Again, you diagnosed correctly in my book. Now, obviously, this is all just my opinion, but diagnosed correctly that they are in the active box. So the next question I like to ask, though, is to find out, are they in the active box with money, or are they in the active box without money? And so then I like to ask questions like, so again, what have you tried? And they say, oh, I haven't tried anything yet. I just read a couple of Robert Kiyosaki books. And they're like, okay, cool. So typically when I'm chatting, and this is me role playing as to what I would actually say at the next. Okay. So typically, like when I've studied real estate investors, or when I'm talking to real estate investors, or all the people I know, typically they started with either they had a little nest egg, whether they had credit, whether they had, and I'll even sometimes give people a story and be like, yeah, like all the ways that I have been able to find nest eggs or ability to find money for real estate, some people have their own cash. And yeah, that makes it easy because they have their own cash, but most people are not like that. But some people have good credit. And then oftentimes I'll just tell my story. So Tyson, let me ask you a couple of questions so we can develop your story, and everybody that's listening should be like taking notes on this for your own story too. But Tyson, which package do you own with Renatus? You have your full combo.
I own the AIT package. Yeah.
Okay. The 20,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So 20 grand. How did you pay for it? Did you have cash? Did you have existing lines? And write these ones down, guys. Did you have cash? Did you have existing lines? Did you have to apply for new lines? Did you have to go raise private money, or did you use, you've been in long enough that you would have had to come in through, what's that old company? UGA. So of the 5, which ones did you use to get in?
I had an existing line through Mountain America. I increased that from $3,000 to $10,000 and used that as my Velocity banking account. Then I applied for 12 interest-free credit cards with zero fees each year, and got awarded 8 of them, and used a combination of those to pay for my education.
Perfect. So of the 5, in fact, here, let me talk about the 5, because this is important. You're even gonna use this later on. So of the 5, well, that's very fat drawing. Let's do this. So here's the 5. Okay. First is cash. Second is existing lines. Third is new lines. Fourth is 401k. I have talked about that one before. Fourth is 401k. Fifth is private money. And 6 is basically in-house billing. Okay. Now, obviously, you wouldn't use this one for real estate, but I will typically have this conversation, because if you guys don't know this is actually the list in Helios for common ways that people fund their education. I look at this list and I say, you know what? I've used my own cash for real estate deals. I've used my own existing lines for real estate deals. I have applied for new lines in order to do real estate deals. I've used 401ks for real estate deals. I've used private money for real estate deals. Right? When people ask me the question like, Daine, how do you balance your Renatus business and your real estate business? Guys, it's the same. It's the same thing. Same conversations, same sources of money, it's the same. I just help that person do whatever it is that they need. Okay. So Tyson tells me that he used his own existing lines. He applied for new lines. And so he can talk about that story. So here we go. In that conversation, I'm going to bring this up. Okay. So we've diagnosed that this person is active investor. Now we just need to figure out, do they have some sort of nest egg? And so here's how I say it. So we've already answered the question, like, how long have you tried, what have you tried, stuff like that. Okay. And then I say, okay, cool. Now, most people that I meet that are getting into real estate like me, they have to find some source of money, right? And some people have used cash, and I'll straight up tell people, like, yeah, when I first got started, I didn't have cash. And so I wasn't in that lucky, that lucky club of just inheriting cash or being able to save cash. Some people have used like their own lines of credit that they already have. So, and they already had, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, whatever, in lines of credit. And some people had to apply for new credit, like me, right? So Tyson, you can tell your story where you can say, yeah, like I had some existing lines, but I also went and applied for a bunch of new lines of credit. And so that's what I did. But some people have learned how to use the all powerful, like other people's money, AKA the private money. So some people have used private money to get into real estate. And Tyson, if I remember right, have you already done, you've done a couple of real estate deals, if I remember right? You've been in on some transactions. Mm-hmm. And so you can even already say probably all of these things anyway. Yeah, for real estate deals, like I've done this one. For real estate deals, I've done this one or used other people's, and that's fine. And I've used this one. And so anyway, you kind of teach them this. And you have a conversation where you go through this list, and I like to mention the 401k one. And so then I like to ask him, like, so if you were to get into real estate, my new friend that is in my active investor box, basically. So if you were to get into real estate, what source of nest egg, if you will, would you have to go after? Like, do you already have a little bit of your own, or do you have good credit, or are you going to have to do like what some people do and just go straight up other people's money, right? You guys see what I did there? I just asked that person where they are financially. And they gave me permission because they said, oh, I want to get into real estate. I've been looking at it for a couple of months. I read some Robert Kiyosaki books. And now I just step into this detective mode of figuring out, like, all right, where are you? Where are you in this space of being able to get into a real estate deal? And if they tell me, like, oh yeah, I've got great credit, or oh yeah, I've already got lines of credit, or oh, I've got cash. Like, so answers to this question. I'm just trying to think back over the last month or two. I've had some people answer this question where they're like, oh yeah, I just got divorced and we had to sell the house. It was paid for free and clear. And so I have $220,000 sitting in the bank. I didn't ask him to tell me that. But having the conversation that I just had, or just shared with you guys, this guy straight up told me, I've got $220,000 cash in the bank. I was like, cool. Yeah, well, you're going to be this then. You got time because he's telling me you want to invest and you got money, right? I've had some people say, like, oh, dude, I got nothing. Like, yeah, I've ruined my credit. Whatever. So I say, cool. Well, you're going to be in this box then. You've got time, but you don't have money. And then they tell me they have time, but they don't have credit. I will actually be very real with that person. I'll sit down, I will get real and I'll say, you know what? So Tyson, let's say this is you. And you tell me I have time, but you're basically like, oh yeah, like I lost my job. I screwed my credit. I don't have any credit cards, whatever. I'm broke. I'm going to be real with that person. I'm going to be like, Tyson, the cool thing about this is I have actually seen people be able that had less be able to actually do real estate deals using private money, using other people's money. But I will tell you one thing, the people that were able to make that happen, they had to get very far out of their comfort zone. So either they had to wait a long time and save up and build their credit back and then start investing in real estate, or they had to get out of that comfort zone and learn how to use other people's money. So Tyson, my next question to you is which one are you prepared for? If you want to get into real estate and you don't have credit, you don't have money, you're going to have to go private money. And so are you like, you know what, I would rather wait a long time and save up and whatever, or do you want to do this now? and I would share a story. Like I was one of those people to do my first, I don't know, several real estate deals. I had to use 100% of other people's private money. And so you start telling those stories like, yeah, I met this guy, or you even tell your own story. If you use private money on your real estate deals, like, yeah, like this is the situation I was in. And I went and I had to use other people's money and we bought this house, right? And just leave it at that. Don't go into detail on the private money thing. Just be like, we bought this house, we did this deal, whatever. And we used this person's money. And then you talk about the deal. We bought this house and we did this to it. And here's how we made our money. Here's how we made our money. We whatever. All right. So you still inspire them, but you make sure you kind of pull it back and say like, hey, this could be hard to do. Are you prepared for that? And if most of the time, they're going to answer positively because they're going to be like, you give them that inspiring story and they're going to be like, yeah, I want to do that. But then you prepare them for that hard conversation. When you sit down and you do that one-on-one, and now you already know how much time am I really going to invest in this person, because you already know where they're at financially in this first conversation. And then when it comes to the end of your one-on-one, and you sit down and you say, hey, here's how most people fund their education. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. You actually have the permission to talk about the 401k. Have you had this conversation with your prospects so far? Do they have a 401k that they could borrow from?
He doesn't. He's in college right now learning how to code.
Okay.
So he has no money.
Okay, so young guy.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So it's funny. In my mind, I was picturing like a married man with kids. Because that's usually what I see when I go to church. I forget that when you go to church, the scene's a little bit different. Do you go to singles ward?
Yeah.
Cool. So a bunch of other guys and gals that are in that space. So anyway, so you're gonna have to now, when you have this conversation up front, essentially you gave yourself permission to be hard on this guy. Kind of. Now be like, hey, this is the only way that this is going to work. Is if you can, training starts today where you need to have a conversation where you go get private money to start your education, to start to do your first real estate deal. So training starts today. In fact, I told this to a gal because again, I asked her these questions. I knew she wasn't going to come up with any of these top four. And I said, hey, and I told her, I said, this is going to be hard, but I'll tell you what, this will be a very tall tale sign that you'll prove to yourself that you will be able to get into real estate because you got uncomfortable and you had this conversation. And by golly, she took that and said, challenge accepted. She didn't say that to me, but in her mind, she's like, challenge accepted. And she went and did those things because we prepared her mind for it. And she bought her Extreme Plus combo using private money. And then she became 5-star because she knew right off the bat that she was going to have to get uncomfortable, have those conversations, and she bought. Now, obviously, not every single person that cannot fund their combo with some of these ways, new lines would also include like HELOCs and stuff like that, whatever. But if they can't fund it in these top 4 ways, this is their only option. Now, obviously, there's other creative things that I've heard stories of, but those are fewer and far between. Most people are going to fund their education in these ways. Now, of course, you could always go all the way back and say, you know what, $400 down using the in-house billing, and I think the new way to calculate payments is so easy. I love the new billing. So basically, it goes to $2,100 because in in-house billing it steps up to $2,500 for an essentials package, and the $400 down payment, and then divide that by 18 months. And so the payment is $117. Okay. And so at the end of the day, you can say, you know, I forgot to ask our friend's name. What's our friend's name that we're talking about here?
His name is Colin.
Colin. So you can say, Colin, either this is our only option or this is our only option. $400 down, $117 per month. And at least we start. And you can tell him, Colin, the most important thing to me is not that we get you the whole package. The most important thing to me is that we start. And you can actually tell stories. Did you guys know that this is Michael Huggins' story? I'm not sure if he actually bought a UGA Essentials, but I know he started with an Essentials, and then he upgraded later, and then upgraded later, and now he has this full Epics combo. Okay, but so when you believe in somebody like that, and you set the proper expectations, potentially you can still close them. But at the same time, you know that you better not spend a ton of time with these people, because you might experience what you're experiencing right now. Okay, so we took up the whole time for this. So, you know, and some people are I've been watching the comments. Some people are very grateful, Tyson, that you asked this question, because people need to know this. Now, can anybody guess how I developed this conversation that I just shared with Tyson? I've had 100 conversations
by experiencing what I'm describing right now.
Exactly. Because I've been there, right? And then now here's the coolest thing about this. You got your own conversations. You've got your own conversations, you know, tons of them, that you can go back and learn from every single one of those, right? So do what we just did, whether in your own mind or you know, jot it down on a piece of paper, with all of these people that you know, at the beginning of this call, we had that affirmation that everybody that you're talking to is broke. Stop that, by the way, which we already talked about, so you're good. But go back to all of these conversations that you've had recently that caused you to start telling yourself that story, and ask yourself, like, did I set myself up for this? Because I didn't ask these questions first. Because I didn't do the detective work at this level right after I learned that they have a positive relationship to real estate investing. I didn't do my detective work to try and place them first. And if you don't do that, that's usually the byproduct, is you'll go down through and you're just kind of like, okay, and then you find out where they are later on, but you've already invested all this time with them and you haven't set up those proper expectations. So anyway, I hope this helps. I hope this doesn't confuse you even more. I hope this is actually bringing clarity. Tell me which way it's caused your mind to go. Clarity, or you just like, oh, Dan, you just opened up a can of worms.
It's brought me some clarity. Cool, because doing the detective questions in the beginning lets me know it does. I can see how that sets proper expectations. And a question for you I have about this though is, do you ever draw this out for the person, whether verbally or on a piece of paper, or do you just kind of like in your mind go through all these things?
Yeah.
Or do you talk to them about it?
Here's my formula. Right. The formula is, just like you did, I asked them the questions around FOR, so family or from, just depending on how much I know them. So family or from, where are they from, how's their family? O is occupation, and R is recreation. Now, usually I don't even get to recreation. Usually I find an in. I find an in to talk about real estate investing in these two. It's very rare that I get to the last one. and have to use recreation to bring up the real estate investing conversation, but that's all right. I have used it a few times. So there's my formula. And then as soon as I bring it up and they respond positively, I know that they're probably going to be in one of these two boxes. In the passive or the active box. Right now, if the conversation goes to like one I just had, in fact, this month, a week ago, a conversation that I just had a week ago, bringing up the conversation immediately stemmed in that person's mind. They didn't have a property with a problem, but they knew somebody who did. And so that conversation went straight to there. Okay, so anyway, that's the formula. Is I choose which box they're going to be in based on the preliminary conversation, and you can tell usually like roughly which box they're going to be in that preliminary conversation. But then, like we talked about here, right off the bat, your buddy was like, "Oh yeah, I'm in the active box." But then I know, like, okay, where are you in the active box? And then I ask them those questions. So to answer your question, do I ever draw this out for people? No, because usually I'm having a conversation with somebody at church, just like you were, or I'm talking to somebody on the phone, or in fact, I'm going to do this a little bit later today with somebody. I'm just going to talk to them on the phone. And so I'm going to ask them a bunch of these questions, and I'm going to try and figure out, like, okay, where is this person? And then where in this box is this person? Like, the person I'm going to talk to, actually, I already know. He is a realtor, and he's already doing deals as a realtor. And he's telling me that he wants to get into real estate investing. And so that's just what we exchanged over text messages. And so I'm going to ask the questions, right off the bat. I'm going to ask these types of questions. He's got time. Does he have money or no money? And does he really want to learn to be a CEO in real estate investing and start doing deals and use his realtoring to become a CEO of real estate or build a portfolio, whatever you want to call that. So anyway, I hope that answers your question.
It does.
I find the box, and then I try to find where they are in the box. And then as soon as I'm like, cool, I think I've identified you. And then I say, let's meet. I would love to sit down and have a conversation with you. Let's meet on Thursday or Monday or whatever, right? And I schedule that appropriately. So cool. Hope that helps, brother.
And then once they contribute, and once they can commit to meeting with you, that's when you send them videos and say, before we meet, I would like you to watch these videos. And so they have the motivation to watch the flip tour and the Thursday night.
Exactly. Yeah. So now it's been interesting though, because I have had a few conversations recently where the person was like, I want to say the person was asking me the question, like, Daine, why are you so willing to help me? And so I was like, okay, I gotta go deeper with this person. And so at that point, that's when I started backing up and said, well, here's what I'm doing. Right. And at that point, I just told him, like, this is what I'm doing. I didn't show them this because it was on the conversation, but I said, well, here's what it is. My goal, and I've been telling people that my goal is I want to help 1,000 people. My goal is to help 1,000 people either equip themselves or get into or get out of a real estate deal, right? So equip people to get into real estate deals by purchasing Renatus, helping them get into real estate deals with their own money, putting their money into my real estate deals, or helping them out of a real estate deal, buying their property, right? And so I just say, I want to help 1,000 people. And here's the 3 ways that I can help people. So really, like, what I'm doing here, Tyson, because, let's say, Tyson, you're like, Daine, why are you talking to me about this? Like, what is it? What's in it for you? And I always lead back to, I want to help 1,000 people. And so I have helped people do this. I've helped people do this. I've helped people do this. And I'll just grab a quick story. I helped a lady that said, I hate rental properties. I have $1 million. And I'm like, well, why don't you become a bank? And so I tell that, literally that fast, 5-second, 10-second story. I helped somebody that wanted to get into real estate. And I don't say they bought Renatus, but I helped somebody want to get into real estate. And they said, well, I'm gonna take a time to learn and then do. And so they studied other real estate investors. We worked together. We studied the same real estate investors, and then they did their first deal. And so I tell that story. And then I tell the story of somebody that I helped out of a sticky situation where they needed to sell their house. And even though I bought it at $98,000 below market value, and the guy had an appraisal in his hand, he looked me in the eye and said, thank you. When we went to the title company at the closing table, he stayed there because he wanted to meet me in person. And so, yeah, we might get cut off. But at the end of the day, he looked me in the eye and he said, thank you for buying my house.